Hi, this is a formative assessment Ignite talk. My name is Timothy Guy. I'm a math teacher at the Spring Grove Area School District. I'm here to talk about how formative assessment has really changed my classroom and to give you a little bit of advice about how what's happened in my classroom and helping yours. So just a couple things, the form of assessment, how it's going to change your classroom. The big thing that you're going to see throughout this is going to make students know what's going on. I'm going to reiterate that a bunch of times. And really, we talked about 7 strategies. These 5 strategies are the ones that I think really have happened in my classroom. What you're going to see throughout this Ignite talk is I'm going to talk about what the strategy is of those 5 strategies, how did it help my classroom, and then what are some technologies and formative assessment tools that you can use and that I've used that can help you support that strategy using your classroom. The first strategy 1, is all about stating to students what the goal of your lesson is, basically telling them, hey, this is what it is. Don't keep it a secret. You want to tell them what they need to do to meet that goal, what their learning objective is, and then make sure that your goal is something that students understand. Make sure it's something that they can get into. In my room, I have my objectives posted in my room, and I make sure that all my objectives are stuff that students can understand. I also make sure that I point out to my students, here's what the objective is, and even ask them questions to go ahead and tell me, hey, this is what our goal is, this is what I'm trying to do, so the students can reiterate back to me what they know. Some technologies I've used in my classroom to do this. Nearpod is a great way to ask that quick question of, hey, here is what the strategy or what the objective is, can you tell me back? And I also use Google Forms as my warm-ups and conclusions to get a quick, like, hey, for warm-up, tell me what your objective is for today. Strategy 2 is having students look at what strong and weak work looks like. Usually you want them to share with each other, so when you do that, it must be anonymous, and then they can have them analyze it, have them ask questions, what makes it strong, what makes it weak. You do not want to hide some of the development of revision, especially if you share your own work. Some of the things that I do in my class, I start by modeling what my work looks like, so this is exactly what I want them to do. Then I have students share strong examples, and then I go ahead and I use different formative assessment tools to have students anonymously share what their work is and point out what makes a strong example and a weak example. Some technologies you can use, one is Nearpod. Nearpod is a tool that allows you to share with students different students' works and really give them an opportunity to analyze what's good and what's not. GoFormative is another kind of like online whiteboard app, and so is ClassKick. Strategy 3 is to offer some regular descriptive feedback, to really all the time be telling students, this is what's good, this is not, this is what we need to work on. Your feedback should be immediate, and it can't just be grades. You don't want to just give grades. And research shows that this is one of the great ways to improve student outcomes. In my class, I have students have a warm-up every single day that I give immediate feedback on with them. I also have students turn and review work with each other. When they do a problem, they turn and say, hey, what'd you do? Here's what I did. And also, I give a lot of formative activities where students do a problem. Again, I'm a math teacher, and I give them quick feedback on what's good and what's not about that problem. Some technology that's really useful for this, again, Nearpod, you can use sort of the whiteboard app part of it to have students do work and you give them answers right back. Quiz is another one where they do a problem that gives them immediate feedback on what they're doing, and Kahoot as well, to give them that immediate feedback. Strategy 4 in my classroom is to teach students to self-assess, having them do a problem and then self-assess and think about it. You have to really do this with students. Take the time to do it. It gives students to take ownership of the learning and give them a growth mindset that can really improve their outcomes. What I have in my class, I have students fill out a form after lessons or their classwork saying what they're strong at, what they're struggling at, and what can they do to improve, and that really helps them think about what they need to do. Students then go ahead and they set goals for themselves, and they base them off the learning objective. Here's what I'm missing in that learning objective. Again, here's some things I've used. I've already talked about Nearpod, but iExcel and NotebookCast are 2 really good ways to have students present material and tell you about how they're thinking about their learning. iExcel kind of gives them some problems and shows them what they're struggling with, and they can self-assess, this is the thing that I need to work on. Last but not least, a big part of the formative assessment strategies that's changed my classroom is taking data and then changing what you're teaching based off how the students are doing. Okay, you have students show what they know, and then you see what they need help with, and then change what you're doing. No one size fits all. In my class, I have students show their work through different formative assessment tools, Nearpod, Google Slides, presentations, whatever, and then during their conclusions, I also get kind of some data from that, and then I change what I'm doing the next day, whether it be doing a warm-up to fix a specific problem, or talk about something during a guided practice. Here are some great ways to get that data from students and then go ahead and use it. I really like having notebook cast, having students do a problem, and then they can you can look at it and say, all right, this is an issue. Let me go back and try to fix this with them and change my lessons for the future. So in conclusion, when you do these things in your classroom, you're going to get those, the students will know what to do, okay? When you have a formative assessment, students in strategy 1, they'll know what to expect. In strategy 2, they'll know what strong and weak works look like. They won't be in the dark about things anymore. Strategy 3, they know what they need to work on. Strategy 4 helps them know how to help themselves improve. And then strategy 5 gives them more opportunities to know how to fix their mistakes. Letting students be in charge of your classroom and know what's going on is so powerful.